Igal, Arsenal tonight. A record-breaking away performance for Mikel Arteta and the boys. What did you make of it, mate?
That is what we like, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we want to see more of. We want to see more great performances like that. That was one of the best away performances I've seen in Europe from Arsenal in over 2 decades. I don't think we've played that well away from home. At least I haven't seen it recently. And I'm gonna just say this: when it comes to Bukayo Saka, Timber, Martin Odegaard, that right hand side of the pitch was doing so much great things. The link up play between Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, and Timber, it was so fluid. That was majority of creativity came from that side, and no wonder Kai Havertz had an easy tap in with Thomas Partey picking out a beautiful pass to Saka to cross it in for Havertz's goal. Timber doing what he did for Martinelli's goal, and of course goal in bunches. You had Victor Gyökeres was in Gabriel's pocket, and then Gabriel comes and does his celebration on him. Actually, he didn't do his celebration; he kind of muffed it, but still, it's pretty hard. And then you go and you look at this team and you say to yourself, those goals were so crucial because with it being a league format, we needed to get our goal tally up. We've now gotten ourselves to what, +6 goal difference. That makes a big difference where we could finish come the end of the season. These kind of games, I didn't expect us to get this many goals for Sporting. To be fair, I was going into this game so cautious, but 2 games on the bounce to get a performance like that, this gives me so much hope in the league. This gives me so much hope for the remainder of the season. And this gives me so much hope for this team because that was the best 11 I feel like we have. You could argue that there's other players that could come in and out and make rotations, but I felt like that was one of our best teams out there and they performed like it. And the performance, the result, everything matched. And even when he makes the substitutions now, Arteta's making substitutions and they're coming off the bench and they're making a massive difference. At this point, bro, I'm saying bring on West Ham. Hopefully we can do the same thing again. I'm looking for 4s and 5s.
Is that who you got on the weekend? West Ham.
Yeah.
West Ham away.
Oh, a home or away?
Away.
Away. Again, I still
Don't
think
forget,
a win.
we slapped them 6-something last year.
No, it's the winner. I know they beat Newcastle last night, but I got it wrong when I was live on the top 6. But Newcastle, for me, for large parts of that game, were the better team. They just couldn't finish their dinner, and I feel West Ham are there for the taking for you.
There's one more. The only thing that I come out of this game saying, you know what, maybe we can improve on is set piece defending. We have been conceding a lot of goals from set pieces lately. We need to fix that up because we conceded versus Liverpool, Man City, Bournemouth. Now this game, maybe you can remind me there was more. That's the one thing that has been a little bit of a weakness of our game, which was our strength a couple of years back. But yeah,
I hear you on that, mate. Brandon, what did you make of Arsenal tonight?
I think tonight's game was probably the most complete performance by Arsenal this season. I think it was probably our best performance of the season as well. Not many teams go away to Sporting Lisbon and win Man City, let alone score 5 goals. So for us to do that, 5 different scorers on the pitch as well, it's looking good. It's looking like we're back to fluid Arsenal again. Oh dear, poor Hamza. Bless him. Come back to Sporting Arsenal now, Hamza. You'll be all right, bro.
No, you were right. You were very, very, very fluid tonight, and I saw you backstage kind of nod your head to what I said about. Feels like Arteta's taken the handbrake off now.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's just as simple as what some Arsenal fans would like to think, where it's like, oh, Odegaard's back and now all of a sudden we're fluid. I think, Odegaard being back in the team certainly helps, but I think the manager has also, like you say, let the shackles off, allowed our players to attack more freely rather than being so rigid, so robotic, which we was in the first, sort of 10 games of the season. In some ways you can understand why, because of the tough fixtures and all the rest of it, but this is the fluid Arsenal that, I want to see. This is the fluid Arsenal that I think, if we can go on a run now, which we should do, we could be the ones that are fighting for that league with Liverpool. And if City are falling away in the way that they are at the moment, you'd probably put us in there as, a decent shout to maybe even go on and at least finish in the latter stages, potentially win the Champions League. You know, we got to do something this season. We got to win some sort of major honour, in my opinion. And just quickly on Gyökeres as well. I know Nathan kind of said, you know, I'm not sure if he'd suit this Arsenal system. I agree with that, but I do think he's got the fundamentals. I know he was locked up for the majority of the game by Saliba, Gabriel, but there was, you know, glimpses there where you could see that this guy, he has the physical strength. He can play with his back to goal. He can hold up the ball well, bring other players into play, and his finishing ability is there. You know, his goal tally speaks for itself. Could he replicate that in the Premier League? Who knows? But I think out of all the strikers that are there, when you look at Arsenal and say, you know, we need a quality number 9 who's going to score more often than not, I would probably say that he's the closest to, you know, the best that we could possibly get. So I'd like to see Arsenal make a move for him. You know, I know it's a risk, but I'd like to see us make a move for him in January.
Yeah, look, I get where you're going. I forgot what I was going to go. Sard. I forgot. Yeah, for a second, I nearly called him Safe, and I don't know why. The word Safe was in my head.
Safe is crazy.
Yeah, I know. Aside from it's because somebody sent me a picture of Pep. Matt did, where his head looks huge, and I thought a Safe.
Big up
Safe. You think they're Safe. Big up Safe if you're watching. I bet he is. He watches all the time. He's probably watching from outside my house. That's the weird part about it. My stalker.
Yeah, he's onto you, bro.
But yeah, you must have been blown away with the team tonight. You know, you were one of the gooners on match reactions in the last couple of months who's been suffering, frustrated.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is a turning of a sort of changing of the guard, turning of the corner, or is it still too early to say that in your opinion?
Listen, whatever happens now, if we do go on a winning run, unfortunately, what we did at the start of the season didn't help us. What we did, losing the games that we did, drawing the games that we did, the performances that we put out there, it hasn't helped us in regards to the league and where we are at the moment in the league. But all we can do now is perform like this. Go out week in, week out, go to every single game and perform like this. Now, Brandon, you said it has nothing. Okay, Brandon's gone. But Brandon said it has nothing to do with Odegaard. It's more Arteta taking the shackles off. I think it can be both things at the same time. Both things are happening at the same time. Odegaard coming in has made us play like this, but also Arteta taking the shackles off. Arteta maybe doesn't want them to attack with Odegaard not on the pitch. So maybe he doesn't trust the team to be able to attack and go out all out and press when Odegaard's not in the team. You see Odegaard, anytime he's on the pitch, he's always pressing. He's always the first one to initiate that press and make sure everybody else is pressing in a coordination with the press and making sure they're doing it at the same time. So, listen, I think we're playing right now very fluid. You can see that the way Martin Odegaard plays, he's so good at these little flicks, just these little flick passes that he does, yeah, and these runs that nobody else will really see apart from a creative player. Only creative players can see those runs. And this is the thing. You have to look at our team now. We're playing very good football, but it's a very, very, very steep hill to climb. And right now, we just have to do our job, which is go out every single week, every single game. Now we have to get 3 points. We have to continue to win. And we have to just focus on ourselves now. We have to make sure that we're getting the wins. And hopefully, Liverpool will drop points. I hope they will, but I think today we were immense.
But you have no hope in winning the Champions League. I just want to clarify that. You don't echo what the other guys said. So you're taking this positive performance you wanted to reflect in the league. You aren't talking about winning the Champions League, are you?
I mean, if we can win it, of course, but there's not. We're not completely out of it, and there's no chance of us winning.
I just wanted to clarify this, all right?
Yeah, don't worry, Mo. Don't worry. If you want to get the clip, it's okay. Habibi, I can come to your channel.
This is not my channel. This is Terrace's channel.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. I can come to your channel.
I was going to go to Mo next to you and say, Mo, a couple of weeks ago on Straight Facts, by the way, tomorrow 3:30 p.m. UK time, Straight Facts, Mo, me, Hassan, make sure you're there. You said that Arsenal are in crisis. Is that crisis now over?
Not yet. They still have to go to the likes of West Ham, Fulham, and replicate these performances. One performance does not tell me that Arsenal just turned the corner. Yes, back-to-back performances that are good. Today, Arsenal looked very good. Arteta completely abandoned the way he started the season with. I was watching both the 3 games, to be honest, and I kept an eye on Inter, of course, and also Arsenal in the background. And every time I looked, Arsenal looked composed. Even when other guys were trying to play Eucharist, Gabriel and Saliba completely just shoved him out of the way. I was like, you're not here, bro. You're not doing anything. Martin Odegaard always has the right place, the right spot every time David Raya had the ball, and Gabriel and Saliba, Martin Odegaard, the first touch is immense. And the way he opens up his body to actually get everybody involved is great, to be honest, which is something that Arsenal were missing. That first touch of a forward player that will get everything ahead of him in the game, and that pinned Sporting Lisbon back, especially in the first half. Arsenal looked amazing. I'm not going to say crisis over. I echo sad. It's a mountain to climb. You hope that you go on a 10 games running streak, but also you're hoping that after these 10 games, you're not still 8 or 7 points behind Liverpool come January, February. You hope that Liverpool will drop points. And listen, one of the things that Arsenal need to work on is what he did today. Have the balls to sub Rice out, sub this guy out, put Trossard in, make the substitutions that are needed when you are comfortable. Don't keep playing Saka. Don't keep playing Odegaard 90 minutes. Sub them out, because today he was very positive. Even at 3-1s, he made the subs. He didn't wait, or 4-1. He didn't wait. Even when Sporting were at the top, he's like, he didn't wait. So, listen, I don't think Arsenal at this kind of moment are one of the teams that can win the Champions League. Again, if these performances continue, not everyone can go to Sporting Lisbon and freaking just smash them like this. It was impressive. And it could have, by the way, guys, Arsenal missed 4 big chances in this game. It could have been 8-1, actually. So just hats off to them.
By the way, just to say as well, Ethan Nwaneri's minutes are increasing. I am happy. I'm blessed to see this young kid just coming on more and more minutes. That's all I want. Just give him more and more minutes.
You guys think every time he comes on, Jason Cundy cries?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, 100%.
Jason Cundy just breaks down in tears.
He's going to get so many calls.
By the way, this is a great thing from Blaze. San Marino are in better form in their last 6 games than Man City. That's crazy. Gunnar Souls, what did you make of your team tonight, bro?
Listen, we're back. We're back. We're well and truly back. Crisis is definitely over. I'm telling you, man, the hunters or the hunted have become the hunters. The league's back. Liverpool, just watch out. You need a big January window to stop this. This is going to be a seismic return, and this is going to be one of the biggest Premier League wins we're going to see. Arteta's going to win it this season. You can see it with the Odegaard return. As long as he can stay fit, he's going to win us the league. He's going to captain us to the first Premier League title in over 2 decades. Whether the Champions League follows that, that'll be immense. Whether we can go into the summer with both those honours, let's see. But at the moment, we're playing absolutely scintillating football to the point where I actually don't think any team can beat us. As long as this 11 can stay fit, as long as this squad can stay fit, I don't think any team in the world beats us. And this is why I keep saying Martin Odegaard is so instrumental. He has now become one of the best players in world football. People can argue it, people can debate it. I don't really care, because that's my opinion and it will stay that opinion. And Gabriel didn't botch the celebration. He just couldn't see Gyökeres. Where was this guy? Ghosted. This was your audition, lad. This is your coming. This is the Messiah the Arsenal fans were crying for. Where was he? Ghosted, fam. Couldn't do shit. It took Kiwior to come on for me to see this guy. And you want me to buy into the idea of him. Yes, he'll cook for a United. Yes, he can go to a Liverpool and a Chelsea and actually perform. But when it comes to a highly technical footballing team that you need to have IQ, you have to have a bit about your game. He's not going to perform. He wouldn't perform for a Pep. He won't perform for Arsenal. He won't perform for a Barcelona. He won't perform for these teams, because you need more to your game than just being able to run in space. As soon as those low blocks hit him, the man's going to go again. He's ghosting again. He's not going to handle it. And that's the reality of the situation. This is before today. He just does not suit us, and today proved it. And when it comes to our team, we've got the best defensive partnership in world football at the moment. Raya has been out of his skin this season. Yes, granted, he's made a few mistakes, but as a goalkeeper, he's one of the best keepers in the world. We're well and truly back. Crisis is well and truly gone. I don't know where. As soon as Martin Odegaard returned, that's when I knew this is it. We're going to cook. That's why I've not panicked, because we knew Odegaard wasn't going to have a Rodri situation where he's out for the season. As long as he stays fit, he's going to captain and he's going to make sure that we're back in this. West Ham are going to get the cooking of their life. They have not been in form. That 6-0 from last season is going to look like a dwarf of a performance to what we're going to do to them. This is going to be the coming of Arsenal. This is going to put the fear back into the opposition, back into the rivals to say we're well and truly here. When people said City are going to fall off and we're going to take over, you're going to see it. Liverpool will have a fall off. Their tough periods are coming. Let's see if they can handle it. Their squad isn't good enough. Their squad isn't big enough. Let's see if they go in January and do anything, because they need to do more than we do. Because 1 or 2 injuries and they're done. They're cooked. They're the same as City right now. As soon as they get an injury to a Gravenberch or a Salah or a Van Dijk, they're not going to have any answers, because their squad is thin, their quality shit, and that's the reality of it. Well, as soon as December hits, they're going to suffer as well, because they're going to need to rotate their team. And how are these players going to keep up? They've got an aging squad that's going to be tested when these testing times come. Whereas we've played it perfectly. We're rotating well. We're getting into these teams. We're going up 3-0, 2-0, and we're able to rotate to the point where we've got a 17-year-old getting 25 minutes in the last sort of 5 to 6 games. That's how much rotation we're able to do, because that's how comfortable we've been. And the only thing that annoys me is the fact that Ethan didn't start earlier. Because if he had started earlier, the Odegaard injury wouldn't have been so impactful, because we would have had a natural 10 who can play in the system, who can be creative. Yeah. And that's where I do blame Arteta a little bit for not getting that right. But it is what it is.
I hear you on that. There was a question that came through while you were talking. It said, who's more important, do you think, for Arsenal, Odegaard or Saka?
Odegaard, 1,000,000%.
Odegaard.